Hey guys, so today we're gonna take a look at the best legends to play with in Apex. Probably the most requested video ever, but we're gonna take a look at all of the legends and categorize them into three categories today. Low tier, mid tier and high tier, which is what you would want to go with if you want to maximize your effectiveness. Before we get to it, I just want everyone to know two things. If you're watching this video a couple of weeks or months since I published it, and I already created an updated version of it because there were some changes or new legends implemented, you will see the link to this video right now on the screen. If you don't see it, of course, there has been no changes yet and I didn't create that video. And also, I just want everyone to be aware that all of the legends in Apex are really well balanced, and I decided to categorize them to different tiers based on the maximum effectiveness that can be possibly achieved with those while playing the game. So it absolutely doesn't mean that you cannot do well with a character that's placed in a lower tier. Of course, you can play great with either of them. It's just that if you play the character that's in the higher tier, you're gonna have an easier time taking out enemies and generally winning the game along with your team. Alright, so starting off with the low tier legends, we have the Pathfinder. The character which looks like a robot and has three abilities. The passive one, allowing to discover what will be the next circle, or actually where the next circle will be, and you can do so by coming up to the stations marked on the map in specific locations and simply interacting with those. You can see it on the screen right now, so no need to explain. As your tactical ability, you're able to use grappling hook, and as your ultimate, you're actually able to place down ziplines for all of your teammates. And I decided to place it in a low tier because it's not that it's not useful, it's more of the fact that it is useful in super specific situations, in super specific environment, when you can actually take the advantage of your tactical and ultimate abilities. When it comes to the mid-tier legends, we got Gibraltar and Caustic. And before I get attacked by the mains of either of them, hear me out, because I personally love Gibraltar and it's one of my favorite characters, but still, it's not amongst the best ones, sadly. As your passive ability, you're able to deploy a shield in front of your gun that actually protects you from incoming fire. As the tactical one, you're able to place down shields which, for 15 seconds, protects you and everyone inside it from incoming fire. Now, note, you cannot shoot through it, either from outside or inside, so if you want to shoot enemies, you actually have to come out of it. And as your ultimate ability, you're able to call in a bombardment on your enemies. And on paper, it really sounds great, but in reality, Gibraltar is quite big and slow, which makes him a very easy target for the enemy players, and it is super effective to play with him when you're actually playing with a pre-made squad of friends and you know that they will be actually covering you and you will be able to provide support for them. But if you're playing with randoms, I wouldn't bother. And then, as for the second legend in the mid tier, we have Caustic, who can, as the ultimate ability, gas enemies, as the tactical ability, place up to 6 gas containers on the ground, which automatically get deployed if the enemies get nearby them, or you can shoot them and activate them manually. And as his passive ability, he's able to spot enemies in his gas. Once again, it is one of those legends which is super useful if you are in a super specific scenario where, for example, you're defending something, a city or a building, an area, and you can actually deploy those gas canisters in advance, set up the traps, gas enemies who are pushing you, because in the offense, it's not really that great. You're not gonna have enough time to actually deploy those traps if you are pushing the enemies and attacking them, because they're already gonna be shooting you. So what, you're gonna run in with the gas canister and throw it at them? They're gonna take you out during that time. And now we should have the high tier, but before we go there, I want to talk about Lifeline, because honestly, I don't know if I should place it in the mid tier or in the high tier, so I kinda want to place it in the middle, because Lifeline, it's a great legend, but it's really not that useful, considering how many medkits, syringes and every other means of healing there is in the game. When it comes to the passive ability, she's got a shield that protects your teammate and yourself when you're reviving them, and also all of the healing items can be consumed 25% faster, when it comes to the tactical ability, you're able to deploy a healing drone to heal you and your teammates. And if the enemies kill you, you can even heal them, sadly. And as your ultimate ability, you're able to call in supply drops. And the reason for why I'm not certain where to place Lifeline in this ranking is rather simple. Majority of the time, it is much more convenient to actually heal yourself using syringes or medkits than deploying a drone, because it simply takes a long time to do so, and realistically, you only heal in two situations. In the engagement, or during the engagement, and after the engagement. So it's faster to heal yourself using syringes and medkits during the engagement, and after the engagement, you're gonna have tons of meds from the enemies you just killed, and if you don't kill them, you're dead anyway. I would much rather go for one of the characters in the higher tier than for Lifeline. For example, the Bangalore, which can, as the passive ability, move around faster once she starts getting shot, deploy a smoke using a smoke launcher, which is great for both pushing the enemies and getting away from the combat if you have to, and also can drop a bombardment on the enemy team. It is a bit similar to what Gibraltar has to offer, but trust me when I tell you that it is so much easier to run around and attack enemies using Bangalore. It is so much faster. Then we have Mirage. As his passive ability, he deploys a decoy and cloaks for 5 seconds when he gets knocked down. As a tactical ability, he can deploy decoys which run around and confuse enemies. And as the ultimate ability, he's actually able to cloak himself and deploy a decoy to, for example, flank enemies, and in general get a better position. It is such a powerful legend in the right hands, and I'm gonna be explaining more of this in the in-depth tutorials starting tomorrow for each legend daily, so stay tuned for that. I don't want to focus on it in this video, otherwise it would be too long, so let's get to the next one. We have Bloodhound, which is one of the strongest characters when it comes to engaging enemies, and as the passive ability, he can actually track their footsteps and see them on the ground, so you're able to tell where your enemies went. As the tactical ability, you're able to reveal enemies nearby and see all of the traps. And as the ultimate ability, you're able to both run around super fast and see enemies through the walls. It is so powerful. You can literally wipe out the whole enemy team within seconds, if you know what you're doing, of course. Really, if you can master Bloodhound, you're gonna be deadly to everyone around you. And I'm not kidding. And then at the very end, we have Wraith, which is probably the most effective legend you can possibly pick. As your passive ability, you're able to hear voices when there is enemies coming close to you. As your tactical ability, you can actually, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but you get in some sort of a different dimension and you can quickly run around, flank enemies, and they're not able to shoot you if you're running around. Once the ability runs out, they're actually able to shoot you then, but before that, they're not able to hit you. And the ultimate ability, you're able to open up portals for both yourself and your teammates. It is so powerful. You can do such impressive flanks with it, and also, if you learn to use Wraith to its maximum potential, you're gonna be moving around so quickly, stacking both portals and the tactical ability. Not really sure how to describe it, but if you stack both of them, you're essentially dominating all of the engagements. And even the whole game. I'm not kidding. It is that powerful. I'll be explaining it further in the in-depth guides for each individual legend, which I'm starting uploading tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I sadly cannot fit all of the information about all of the legends within 10 minutes. And before you click off, I just want to let you know that yesterday I uploaded a video explaining all of the best weapons in Apex, so I really encourage you to check that out, since you already know the best legends. Now you should know the best weapons to play with to maximize your results, and yeah, there is a link to it on the screen right now. And as always, if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and I see you in Apex. See ya!